Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the 2018 budget, and I have here with me a GM from Budget, Gabriel Okeowo. And I want to talk about, look at the states now. And we keep talking about, the federal government a lot, and we forget that this is a federation where, the closest government to you should be, what you should pay more attention to. And the states are very important in this dynamic, and we don't seem to pay enough attention to them and what they're doing. And then the states you see, have you noticed in the last couple of years, I've had maybe sort of an okay track record with regards to implementation and accountability that you think 2018 might also be a good year for?
Well, let me say lack of fact figures. Fact and figures at this point will not be able to, will not allow me to mention a particular state. But we are working as an organization, we are working with some states at the moment. We are trying to also, and we are also watching implementation and also budgets in this new year. Already we are seeing some very interesting budgets that we want to go after. We are seeing a state where budgets is being increased by almost 100%, and we want to know what is the situation, what is accounting for that.
How is that happening?
How is that happening? What do you want to do? What magic? How is this going to be, funded, considering the fact that half of the tenure has already been spent? This possibly should be a government that should be winding down, and also this is also a pre-election year. This is something that we cannot do away with in our discussion about 2018 budget. But in terms of implementation, we are seeking partnership with some government at the moment that we want to use to showcase to other states, so that they can see, they can be open, they can open up for, accountability and transparency. We have not gotten so much of support in terms of that, but I must say that one government has yielded, and we have started a program. Now I'm going to mention Kaduna. We have started a program in Kaduna, for example, that we call Open Kaduna. And Open Kaduna is a radio program where we talk about the government spendings, the way government is being run, and people are allowed to call in, people are allowed to, know what is happening in that state. However, a lot is still meant to be done, even in that state. So,
yeah. On a final note now, like you said, you were talking about the fact that it's a pre-election year. And generally, the average Nigerian, most of us don't necessarily know how to hold people accountable or government officials accountable with regards to budget spending. What should we as Nigerians start thinking about doing? Do we start coming to you? Do we scream on the streets? What are some things we should start looking at to hold people accountable? Because like you said, this year there's a lot of distractions, and we don't even know how much work is going to be done. What can we do as Nigerians? A lot that we can do, and a lot that we need to do. But the funniest part of the situation is most of us, the middle class in Nigeria that are like the bulk numbers of Nigerian population, are those that are not so interested in the government. And it's so funny that those that even call the government to accountability, that demand that something should be done for them, are even the illiterate. They are even those that are less educated. They are those that are in the low-income communities. They are those that are in that rural community. If you ask me, and if you ask an average Nigerian, who is the speaker or who is that councillor in charge of your ward, an average citizen don't know. So what do we need to do? From this year, this election, coming election, is presented to us another opportunity for us to know those that we are putting, pay attention to those we are putting in government, know them. And I don't want to go and vote for sake of voting. Oh, this political party is a good party, and under Senate, I just vote that party, even if I don't know who is representing my constituents in that party. But this
pre-election year is presenting to us again another opportunity. Know who is representing you from your ward level to your local government level to the state level to the national level. You need to know who is representing you. If you are giving them your vote, you need to know why are you giving them your vote and be able to call them to accountability. Most of them are on social media. Social media is helping out. Social media is helping out. Whether you like it or not, when they see pressure, when there is a pressure on them demanding an information, they yield and they release such information. We have one of such that is working really with budgets right now. He's a speaker in one of the states, southwest states here, and he has so much taken interest in what we do and seeing that it is for the development of the people. So much so that he's calling us whenever he wants to implement a project. He calls us, and we go back to the book because we are not partisan. We go back to the book and we look at, you have called us for this project. This is how much is meant for this project. Okay. We blow that out, and that's forced him to give us the true picture of the story.
And just be better accountable.
20 million was budgeted, but in reality, 8 million was released, and that is what I've used.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's very sound advice. Just pay more attention. I mean, be sure of who you're voting in, and in every level.
Yeah.
The president is not all that matters. Thanks very much for being here today.
Thank you, Buka.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking on employment in Lagos. I'll see you in a minute.